Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Let's see what we're gonna do today. I have no idea. I mean, there's some odds and ends things that I want to do. I'm still not done with like the rebinding stuff yet, but that's being a pain in the rear, as is typical, I guess. But anyway, yeah, we're just gonna do some odds and ends things today and see what the adventure of the stream has in store for us. Anyway, you can wishlist Alchemy Mortis on Steam. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler where you can build your own synergies using alchemy. So if that sounds interesting, definitely check it out. You can also support the game on Patreon. If you subscribe at the sponsor tier for at least 1 month, I'm going to send you a Steam key for the full game when it releases, and your name will be listed in the in-game Alchemy Mortis credits. I also just realized, let me do something. Well, it's fine, whatever. So yeah, you can support the game on Patreon if you want those two perks. And then also you can check out my Udemy courses. The links for those are in the description below. I would appreciate that if you could check those out. But of course, wishlisting Alchemy Mortis is the best way to support the game. Okay. Man, I'm all kinds of like messed up this morning. We gotta get the proper scales in place. I think everything's scaled up the way it should be. This isn't. Okay. Hello, Mohal. Welcome back. Emerson, good to see you. How are you doing? Monkey Software, good to see you. Squint and rub the crusties away. Ew. My daughter's currently screaming about the cat laser. Oh, cat lasers are fun for children and cats alike. I remember having a ton of fun with cat lasers when I was a kid. Good game, thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome. Hello, Nathan. Hello, Dewernock. Welcome. Good to see you. All right, so I had something that I wanted to do. Oh, change the spade artifact to allow selection of one additional item as well. So yeah, I think the... Is that what it's called? Is it really called a spade? It's called booster card. Oh, its display name is spade. So booster encounters offer one additional item. I'm going to also make this and allow one additional item. So let's build those translations just so that it's updated as quickly as possible. Okay. So now we got to actually modify that booster item. What is it called? Booster card. Okay, so we got register modifier, additional booster choices. So I'm gonna need additional booster. See, I don't really like this name. This one, let's rename this to additional booster options. Yeah, additional booster options. We're going to do another one that's additional booster choices. So an option is how many are presented to the player, and a choice is how many can the player take. Okay, so now we're going to do register modifier additional booster choices. Basically the same thing, but that's okay. So let's take a look at the additional booster options. Additional cards to pick. Okay, so now I need to, in my booster card selection container, my choice limit, set choice limit, where is this? This is here. Okay, entry.max choices. Okay, good. So I think what I would just need to do, choice count is equal to artifact manager dot accumulate modifier, artifact modifiers dot additional artifact choices, initial value is 1. Actually, we'll just make this entry dot max choices, and then we can just pass this choice count in there. All right, so our little spade now should allow us to choose an additional item. I guess I don't really need to do this. Let's just Let me make sure there's no incriminating evidence here. Okay. I have to work on secret items now that we're getting closer to release because, you know, it'd be no fun if you guys see absolutely everything that's going to be in the game. So I'm hoping that by release there will be a good chunk of new content that no one has seen. So the people who have been playing the playtest will have some new stuff to play with. Okay, add artifact. Booster card. Booster encounters offer one additional item and allow you to choose one additional item. So let's go here. So I should be able to choose, contains 6 items, only 1 item can be chosen. So that text is wrong. But this is right. So I just need to update that text. Okay. So that tooltip is wrong. Choice label. Oh, maybe this is the wrong spot. Max choices. Right. So this number needs to change. Total count. How's the total count coming in here? Oh, I see. Okay, so I need to change this number here. Get localized description. Booster. It's not card selection container. What is it? I always forget what it's called. Oh, booster option or something. I very clearly didn't name this correctly. Booster option. What? Okay. Oh, it's literally just called a booster. All right, so choice count. How do I want to do this? Do we already have a convert self-poison to heal? We do not, no. I can add that though. I mean, the weird thing about the conversions is that I do flip the targeting to be like, so for example, let's set aside self-poison. If I say, oh, converts poison to heal, well, obviously it wouldn't make sense for the poison that you're applying to be converted to a heal that targets the enemy, right? So it's like reversed for some things, right? Like if poison is going to get converted to heal, it obviously needs to go from poison targeting the enemy to heal targeting yourself, right? But if you do self-poison to heal, then it would be the flip thing, right? It would be, oh, well, I was applying poison to myself. That means I need to target the enemy with heal. So it remains, so basically it like remains either positive or negative, right? It retains, yeah, whether it's beneficial to you or whether it's not beneficial to you. Now, of course, I could just override that and I could say, well, anytime your card applies poison, it doesn't matter who the poison's target is, it just converts it to heal applied to you. But it's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit tricky for sure. I guess I'll just copy this. Let's do choice count. This would be int choice override. And actually, maybe I don't even need to make that. Yeah, I could just make this. I'll require the max choices there, and we'll just pass it in here. Okay, that should work. So then I do choice count. All right, let's see if that works. Hello, Wuius, welcome. Good to see you. Only 2 items can be chosen, contains 3. Only 4 items can be chosen. Very nice. So in this case, I just get to take all of these. And let's just add another one to be sure. Oops, wrong node. Contains 7 items. And I can take 2 of them, or I could take 3 of them. Alrighty. Focus resume. Because the controller is not in the active input device. Why do I have that warning? Well, I may address that later, I suppose. I didn't realize that these warnings were happening when I don't have a controller. Okay, I'll just add that to my to-do. Anyway, so we buffed the spade artifact here. So we can just go ahead and commit that. Hopefully that makes that a little bit more useful. Okay. So that's done. What are we going to do now? I'm pretty sure I fixed this one. We could fix the tutorial typo. I mean, that's an easy one, but I might as well knock that out right now. Like I said, this is just going to be a very random, doing whatever kind of stream. Maybe we'll do some content. So there's a typo in the tutorial. Hover over each option to see what it offers. Build that. I'll just mark this as done. Okay. Build the translations. Okay. Easy wins. Do I have any other bugs in here? I do, but I don't know if I want to address any of those things. The other thing I was thinking is, so this to-do list is like, I'm kind of blocked on some of these things. I guess I'm not blocked on this, I just don't want to do that one. Credit screen I'm going to add, but that can be later. The big thing is I want to finish this rebindable controls, but that's going to be my afternoon project. I was working on that basically all of yesterday. And it's just like every time I think I'm getting close to finish it, I'm thinking, oh wait, there's like a bunch of UX things that I need to address here. So we can go through the backlog and we can see, is there anything like small that I could knock out? Allow boosters to drop items with corrupted abilities. That could be a difficulty modifier. Obelisk booster event should exclude cross-faction items. I wonder how difficult that one would be. I don't know what this one means, so we're going to get rid of that. I don't think we need to do anything with that. Add a warning when a reagent will take no effect due to incorrect placement. That's a good quality of life thing. Maybe we'll do those two. We'll prioritize those. I don't think I want to do this one. Consider giving each character starting reagents. This one is done, so I can delete that. Preview of board grow, reagent to buff max health. Current active difficulty modifiers and pause menu. I do want to do that one. That's already done. Disallow duplicate reagent drops. I don't think I'm going to do this one. Delete. I do have an idea for board effects. I was thinking about making the board effects more composable. So they would be... So I could have a bunch of board effects that are just like randomly generated, essentially. So what I would do is I would have a list of conditions, like 10 conditions or whatever, like if the cooldown of items in this row, or if this row contains 4 or more alchemical items, then, and then the effect would be something random. Like it could be apply fire, it could be reduce cooldown, whatever. I don't know if I want to do that, but it is an option. Like I could get a bunch of more interesting or more varied board effects that way. I think this one is done. I don't think I want to do this one either. Okay, let's just do these two. I'm gonna start chanting demons, demons. Yeah, I do have to introduce demon secondary tag. Hello, Opacheco Dev, welcome. Good to see you. All right, let's do this one first. Obelisk booster event should exclude cross-faction items. I actually don't know how I'm going to do that one. Obelisk configuration. Wait, how does this even work? Oh, my search wasn't returning everything. Oh, interesting. Has enemy only. Pick from table. Booster configuration, generation args. Booster container, right. Generation args. We have the tables up here. Table.player, table.enemy. Set of loot table. I wonder, how am I going to mark something cross-faction? I guess what I could do... Let's do this. Generate args. Exclude cross-faction. Do I have like an additional filter? I do. Let's do var pick args is equal to this. If generate args dot exclude cross faction, we are going to do pick args is equal to pick args with additional filter. Is that right? Why are my logic skills failing me? No, that's right. Because if it's either one of these, then it's going to fail, right? Or, I mean, if it's both of them, it's going to fail. So if it's a player card, this is going to resolve to false. If it's an enemy card, this is going to resolve to false. False or false will be false, right? So I believe that's how I'm doing that, though. How am I setting up the loot tables? If is enemy, is player. Right, yeah, so that's basically it. So I think, like if I look at oil, it just will have the player and the enemy. Is player, is enemy, yeah. So that works. So I think what I'll do is I'll just say, if exclude cross faction, we're just going to filter out every card that is set to both. And then I could put the pick args in here. What is the only difference here? Target tier, pick from table, additional cards to pick. Okay. So I think I could just put the pick args here. And then if additional cards to pick is greater than 0, I'm going to say pick args is equal to pick args with count is equal to generate args dot additional cards to pick. And then we'll just pass that in here. And that should work. So basically, I'm just retaining that filter down here when I do another pick with additional items. So that should work. Now I need to set has enemy only. Exclude cross faction is equal to has enemy only. And then I also need to do the same thing here. Which is unfortunate that I have two places in the code where the same thing is being done essentially, but I don't really know if there's any easy way around that. Okay, so hopefully that works. We'll just go ahead and just get rid of all these other options for the obelisk. And then I'll go into the game and we'll just make sure that that works. I don't know really how I'm going to verify it. I think I'm just going to do a smoke test and just make sure that it's still just dropping enemy items. I'm fairly confident in that filter, but the worst case scenario, if it's still dropping enemy items, is that the filter just didn't work, right? But let's do an obelisk. Okay. Minion, weapon, and ritual items. Minion, weapon, and ritual. Just open this up. Yeah, that seems to work. Okay. Now the question that I have is, I actually don't know, did I test this with the save file? I need to test this with the save file. So let's do clear save data. Let's go in. Thank you, Snupbill, for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. With the message yummers. Hello, Rin, welcome. If not is player and is enemy. Yeah, that works too. Hello, Light Tiramisu. Straight Pointer, welcome. Booster. So relic, clergy, and damage. Let's go here. Got a bishop. Okay, let me close the game and restart. Just want to make sure that that is the same. It should be the same. Relic, clergy, and damage. Okay, so that is saving properly. Good. Okay, we can get rid of this. Okay, when, I don't know, don't choose cross-faction items for enemy-only boosters. Okay. Add a warning when a reagent will take no effect due to incorrect placement. So the thing about this one is, I don't know what the UX of this is going to be like. So for context, basically what we're going to do is so we've got like this runic tablet, right, which is what we were working on yesterday. So this only targets items in the bottom right. So if I put something here and then I go to click this, it should say something like, you know, one or more reagents will not have any effect or something like that. The question becomes though, like, I probably don't want to do that on a click. Like I don't want to block the click. So do I just add like a tooltip hook onto this? Where if you hover over it, it will show you the warning. The other thing I'm worried about is like, how do I reliably do this? Because I don't want to give a false positive either. Well, let me think about this. We have this alchemy data. Reagent to affected cards. I wonder if it might be useful to do something like maybe like unused reagents. How do I get a list of all the reagents? Collect stats, non-reagent input cards. Reagent input cards. I mean, this is just filtering by reagent, so I could probably just repeat that here. We'll call this reagent inputs. And then what I'll do is I will say unused reagents is equal to reagent inputs dot where not contains x dot to hash set contains key. So I'm basically just looking at this dictionary and saying, okay, are there any reagent inputs that exist? Now the problem is I may have reagents that I need to look at my reagent actually. Let's look at all the reagents. I think I may have reagents that don't have like an explicit targeting, maybe. Let's look at reagent here. So like the mystery tonic is a good example. It doesn't have any targeting by default. So that would throw an error based on my approach here. The Death Orchid would be another example of that. So Death Orchid and Mystery Tonic would be problems here. Is that the only two that would be problems? Of course, any future items that I add as well. So Death Orchid and Mystery Tonic don't have any targeting. So what do I want to do about that? There's a lot of ways to address that. I just don't know which is the appropriate way. Maybe I'll just get this working at a baseline level. But I need a clear delineation between artifacts that have targeting and artifacts that don't have targeting. Or, sorry, reagents. Mystery juice. Okay, give me 1 second. The cat is making a ruckus. I gotta go check. So, BRB. Okay, I'm sorry about that. All right. Let's just go ahead and add, we'll just add a generic tooltip here to the alchemy. Let's see. Clickable control. So I want to, we have a clickable validator. Register clickable control, clickable control. I think that's fine. Generic tooltip. So I think the problem may be on hover entered. Right. So this is going to be, this is going to show no matter what. So this could potentially be empty. So what I could do, I may have to change how this is registered. Where is alchemy data set? Alchemy data changed. Alchemy data changed. I mean, do I just... I could just connect to my own signal, right? Or my own event. That'd be a little bit easier. This passes along the alchemy data. It's a little bit wonky, but that's all right. Okay. I'm going to need to store if the tooltip is registered as well. So let's do private bool is reagent warning tooltip registered. Okay, if data.unused reagents .count is equal to 0 and is reagent tooltip registered, we're gonna do, let's do this. Private void reagent validation tooltip handler. Just stub out that method for now. Generic tooltip dot do I not have like an unregister? Connect to hover entered. Oh. Instance dot on hover exited. So I have no way of disconnecting this when I register it. Do I want to do this? I think it would actually be easier just to register clickable control. Maybe I could do like a maybe like a visibility gate func or something. Would that work? Maybe I'll just pass that along. Okay. If visibility gate func dot invoke is equal to false, we are just going to return. So we're not going to do anything on hover entered if this function returns false. If it returns null or true, we're going to continue on. And that's nullable by default, so that's not going to affect any current callers of this. So when I register this control now, I actually don't need to do any of that stuff anymore. I don't need to do this. I don't need this is registered. We're just going to register it, and then we'll handle whether we want to show it. Yeah, we'll just handle whether we want to show it or not. Reagent, validation, tooltip, visibility gate. Yes, that becomes a lot easier. So in ready here, I can do this. Register clickable control, reagent validation tooltip handler, and reagent validation visibility gate. Okay, tooltip.set header. We'll just do like warning. Set body, one or more keywords dot reagent. Reagents will not take effect. Okay. Obviously, I will need to translate those, but let's just see if that works. Let's just go ahead and see if that works. So I don't want to block the click because, you know, I don't want to force the player to not be able to do alchemy if a reagent's not going to take effect, but okay, so that works. Now it's gone, see? Warning, one or more reagents will not take effect. Put that in there. It's still showing the warning now. So there could be a couple of reasons for this. One reason could be that the stone tablet is not properly marking that ability. Yeah, so this is going to be a problem. Effects.record reagent affected card, context.reagent card to target. So if I don't do this, I'm never going to know which cards the reagent is affecting. So that's kind of my worry, is that if I don't do that correctly, that warning is going to be spurious. And then the other problem, of course, is that, so there's no warning there. If I move this over, one or more reagents will not take effect. So we're not going to tell the player exactly which reagent, we're just going to like warn them. And I could do this with like a gemstone as well. Okay, but if I do add item mystery tonic. Oh, it's called mystery juice. So see, this one always takes effect. So how do I want to do this? I need like a... I mean, I could do something sloppy, like I could do context.reagentEffects.record reagent affected card, and I could say, take the context.reagent card, and then make it affect the context.reagent card. That would fix that issue for mystery juice. And you could arguably say that that's correct, that it's a reagent that's affecting itself. So maybe that data is good. But then you have the problem of the Death Orchid, which does not affect itself, it affects the board. So another option I could do is I could just like add another hash set or something on this and basically just say, here's the reagents that will take effect, right? But then I'm kind of like duplicating what I already have. The other way to do it would be to, for all the reagents that do have targeting, I expose that. I expose them as an I target cached provider or something, right? And so I only do the check against things that have targeting. The problem with that is that the targeting may not be the only condition that determines if the reagent is taking effect. So I could have a reagent that scans for like all minion items, right? And it says, okay, I'm going to increase the crit bonus by 1 per minion item in the board. But there could be a situation where I add like another condition, right? If there's more than 3, minion items or something. So if I just use the fact that it's targeting and say, yep, it's valid, but it has an extra condition in like this contribute effect method, then it's going to not show a warning when it should. So I do think that I need to do something in here. Which is unfortunate because it's like data that I have to manage myself. Now it's like, there's not like a systemic way of determining if a reagent is going to take effect. I basically, in each reagent ability, I have to explicitly mark that the reagent is having an effect. Which is probably all right, but the other thing I could do is I could use this as dual purpose and say, as long as there's a key in the dictionary, the list can be empty. So if there's a key for this reagent in the dictionary, that means that the reagent has taken effect. And then the list is basically optional, like it could contain 0 or more elements. So it could be the case that I have a reagent which is taking effect but does not affect any other items. That becomes like dual purpose though. I mean, I think that's probably okay. I mean, where is this even used really? Yeah. So I'm just going to do this. If affected card is not equal to null. So now what I can do in the mystery juice, for example, is I can do context.reagent effects, record reagent self-affected. And then for the death orchid, I can do the same thing. Oh, this is not doing a contribute effect. Very cool. I think that's probably okay, though. I think what I can do is just implement that interface. High alchemy reagent effect. I hope this works. So in here, what I essentially do is I just say context.reagent effects. Record reagent self-affected context.reagent card. I think that'll be fine. Let's see. My new favorite stream, woot woot. Hello, Brian George, welcome. Good to see you. I'm honored to know that I'm your favorite stream. Fortunately, we're not doing terribly interesting things. Getting the game ready for demo and release is a lot of like random, just polishing work. Okay, let's see. Okay, so that one works. Okay. Add item newt tail. One or more reagents will not take effect. So now now I have to go through and look for like where this is not. Oh yeah, see. Get preserved abilities. Why am I doing that? Oh, this is just not correct at all, I don't think. Preserved abilities. Why do I have to do this? I might have to redo this. Protect, let's do reagent effects. Yeah, protected card abilities. What? Okay. Abilities to remove. I think I have to redo this. I've got like two different concepts here. Alchemy protected abilities. Now see, wait a minute. Alchemy preservability type. This is calling get preserve. This is wrong. Why am I doing this? This is a list, preserved abilities. I don't really know why I'm using this. Card to preserved abilities. So I'm getting the flattened list of all of the preserved abilities. Yeah, I shouldn't be doing that. We're gonna add this to the alchemy reagent effects. Reagent input cards. Get preserved abilities where Y is alchemizable. I've got some things that are doing either the same thing or slightly different things. I guess those are slightly different concepts. So I definitely want... So protected card abilities, this doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, we're gonna have to change this. This should basically be the same thing. I'm just gonna standardize this a little bit. All right, let's just put this, I don't know. Public void, register protected abilities, base card, I enumerable base composed ability. Card 2 protected abilities dot try get value, base card, out var protected abilities, protected abilities. Nullable equals that. Protected abilities dot add range abilities. Card 2 protected abilities base card is equal to. All right. So just to make this clearer, I'm going to comment this one out and we'll see where it breaks. Hello, Sacrificial. Welcome. Good morning, Ninja Link. Good to see you. All right, our abilities protected. So ideally, this would basically go away. So that goes away. That goes away. Card to preserved abilities. This is built... Reserved abilities here. Let's edit this alchemy preserve ability type. Alchemy reagent effect. For each var target in query target provider, get cached targets. Yeah, we are going to do what? This is going away. Well, maybe not. Okay, let's do context.reagent effects. Register abilities. Register protected abilities for target. This is going to be target.get base composed abilities .where X is alchemizable and okay. So hopefully that works. So we can get rid of this now. Alchemy input config. This one, yeah, this basically just goes away. That goes away. Card to preserved abilities, and then this would be reagent effects. This would be reagent effects. And I think we just do a spread operator on this one. I think that's it. So that should fix it there. And then we... No abilities of bottom adjacent items will be replaced by alchemy. So this is the witch dust one. I think what I was intending to do here is let's just do register protected abilities. Just throw all of the abilities. So instead of saying, hey, this whole card is protected, I'm just going to hook into the same like ability by ability protection. Yeah. And so I'm basically just saying all of the abilities, just add them all, right? Now, of course, we're going to have to make sure that that works, but hopefully that simplifies things quite a lot. I'll have to do some thorough testing, I suppose. But it works. So what happens now if I do like add item witch dust? One or more reagents will not take effect. Put this here. Protected, protected. Okay, that's working. No fire abilities of adjacent items. Add the fire mage. Protected, apply 2 fire. 1 or more reagents. Okay, so this is working now. Add the damage. Okay, so that's good. Now let's just throw all these guys in. Those are protected. Okay. That is good. Add item newt tail. All right, let's see what happens. There we go. I think that change is working. So yeah, I mean, it should be working because it's the same data. It's just instead of marking an entire item as protected abilities, I'm just adding all of the item's abilities into the card to protected abilities list. And then I also don't have to reach for like specific types. So like this becomes simpler because I don't need to check that specifically. But also what I don't have to do anymore is like this preserved abilities was checking for abilities on the reagent of this type, which is not like what I'm trying to do now. What I'm trying to do now is make it very generic. So this whole reagent effects object, this is basically the collection of all the data of everything that's going to change due to reagents. And so I can add all of this data or collect all of this data before I actually commit to anything. And that allows me to just do arbitrary stuff too. So I don't need to like inside of the alchemy configuration, I don't need to check for like specific ability types. I just need to check against that object. So I think this is a better approach generally. But also that makes the warning a lot clearer. I don't really like this. Okay, so there's one other step I need to do, which is I need to go to my alchemy container and I need to take this stuff and translate it. UI alchemy reagent validation header, reagent validation tooltip. And then this one becomes this. Keyword reagent, reagents. Okay. Build. Hello, Budget Jim. Welcome. McNeil Gaming. Welcome back. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Hello, Arion. Build the translations. Then we go ahead. All right, let's just make sure everything works. Warning, one or more reagents will not take effect. Look at that. Cool. And then, so that little warning tooltip shows up there when I hover over this. And then when I put that item in there to satisfy that reagent, it goes away. So it's a nice little, if people are paying attention, just a nice little extra validation. Hello, Armano. Do you have any tips for a beginner Godot dev? Thank you for the €249. Appreciate that. Yeah, I have Udemy courses. They're not really geared towards absolute beginners, though. So the beginner advice, it depends on what your experience with programming is generally. If you're starting from scratch, like you have no programming experience, no game engine experience, then it can be a little bit difficult. I think the main thing is start small, start with something very simple. Follow a tutorial if you want to, but when I say start simple, I mean like just try initially for your goal to be something like you want to get a character, which is just a box moving around on screen. And that sounds very simple, and it is simple to some extent, but if you're coming at game development brand new, there is all kinds of things within just that simple example that you have to learn, right? So if you're going to use Godot, you have to learn how to create a scene, and you have to learn how to add nodes to that scene that would correspond to like the visuals of your character, like a box or whatever, right? And then you got to learn how to attach a script to the node. And then you got to learn how to do input handling to listen for like WASD keyboard input, right? But then you got to learn how to take that input and translate it into a velocity that the player will move at. And then you have to learn how to use that velocity to alter the player's position on screen over time, right? So like just that simple thing of getting a box moving around on screen when you press some buttons. If you're brand new to game development, there's like a whole load of new things that you need to learn to do that. But it's not so much that it becomes overwhelming, right? So I would recommend just like doing that kind of thing. Just start really small, just come up with a really basic goal. Like you just want to get something moving on screen. And then you're just going to have to work through that. And it's going to be frustrating, probably. There's going to be a lot going on that you don't understand. You may need to go and reference a tutorial. You may still not understand it after referencing the tutorial, but I think the quickest way that you can learn is by regularly exposing yourself to those kinds of situations where you basically get stuck and you don't know what's going on, and then gradually working through those things and figuring out why something isn't working or how to approach doing something. That's the way that you build up experience. And if you do that enough times, you're going to get more comfortable with game development. You're going to start to see the patterns and understand how to work with the engine. And then you'll be, yeah, I mean, that's basically, I would say that's how you learn. You have programming experience, but mostly web dev. Yeah, in that case, like one of my Udemy courses could help. But if you already have programming experience, then it's probably going to be a lot easier of a learning curve, because then it's just, figuring out how to use the engine. And, doing game programming is different because you have to deal with like real-time state updates, which is not something that you typically see in like web dev, for example. But yeah, just, get into those situations where you get stuck on a problem or you are doing something that's slightly outside your skill level, and just work through that until you get comfortable with it, and then do the next thing that's going to be challenging, and then the next thing and all that. Hopefully that helps. Hello, Clickertail. Welcome back. Okay. Show warning when reagent when will not take effect. All right, that's done. All right, I'm going to go through this backlog again and see if we can pull out some more items to do, but I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we will continue on. Do you ever just wake up some days and just go, it's a McDonald's kind of day? You know what I mean? Anyway, what are we going to do next? Oh, actually, I forgot something yet again. BRB. I would like to thank McDonald's for powering the Alchemortis development. They've been with me since the beginning and they've always had confidence in me. So, big thank you to McDonald's. Thanks for the advice. Always really liking the streams. Yeah, you're welcome, of course. Yes, I know what you mean. I've had McDonald's twice in the last 15 years. That said, I eat Culver's at least once per week. You know, I'm the kind of guy where it's like, you know, as long as you're eating a burger a week, you know, you're my friend, right? It doesn't matter where you get your burger. As long as you're eating a burger once a week, like, we could be friends for sure. Mick D's burgers are not friends with my GI system. Well, I understand that. Gold sponsorship by McDonald's. I would sell out so fast for McDonald's, you guys don't even know. Like, I could come on the stream one day and just have the golden arches just emblazoned across the screen, and I would not feel bad at all. I would turn this stream into a 2-hour McDonald's ad. I would have no shame about that at all. Okay, anyway. It's one of those days where the kitchen is missing from the house. Oh. Interesting. Hello, Shab. Welcome. Good to see you. McDonald's has human meat. Oh, goodness. Welcome. Of course, that comment comes from Aztec Warlord. That would be pretty funny. McD's hat t-shirt on Monday. Wonder if I could go viral enough where McDonald's would throw me some, like, pity money, you know? Put character in bottom 1/3 of the screen. Did I not do that? I thought I did that. It's not in the bottom third necessarily, but the camera is definitely offset a little bit. I mean, we could make the offset a little bit higher, maybe. Map camera. Map input layer. Where am I setting the offset? Oh, here, get player target position. Private const float camera up offset is equal to, let's double it maybe. I did offset a little bit, but it could probably be a little bit more offset. The rationale, obviously, is since you're only going up, it makes sense to show more of the upward direction by default. Yeah, so now the player's there. And of course, you could still pan the camera however you want. Actually, something that I have not done, basically, since I had the map, is I have never added camera boundaries. We should probably do that. I've literally had that thought like 20 times during development. Never once created a card for it. And lo and behold, we're here and I still don't, like, there's still no boundaries on the camera movement. So you could just keep scrolling. You could keep panning to the left for eternity if you wanted to. It's kind of funny. Quality of life. Okay, we're going to do that one next for sure. But we're going to do that one. So how do we feel about this kind of offset? I think that looks nice, right? I mean, there's still enough visual space here. I mean, let's just go up here and see what it looks like. I can make that configurable as well. And you know what? It's also hard to tell what that looks like when I can see all the nodes. So let's turn this off. Let's see. So I go here. Yeah, I think that looks nicer because like on the default fog reveal, now you can see all of the nodes that got revealed at once. Yeah, I think I like that. Add more McDonald's ads on top of the ones already prevalent in these streams. Yeah. Add a Big Mac as a reagent. That'd be hilarious. Unfortunately, every McDonald's near me is terrible and Burger King is the only good option. I am fortunate enough, I don't know what it is about the McDonald's that's like near my house, but I always seem to get like super fresh burger and super fresh fries. Maybe it's just because I go there at the right time every time, but +1 to a McDonald's reagent. Needs a McDonald's inspired card as a functional Easter egg. When you reach the maximum tier in New Game Plus, the final boss is a board full of double quarter pounders, or just one but huge. Playtest is over, huh? I actually forgot to disable the playtest this morning. So I will be, it's Friday, right? Yeah. So I'll be disabling that after the stream. So you have probably like an hour to play still. But yeah, the playtest is over. We just left, truthfully, we left the playtest playable just for like any content creators that may have joined the playtest but hadn't gotten around to creating videos yet. So we didn't want to like disable access and then have a creator go, okay, now I'm going to get to Alchemortis. What? It's closed now. So, but now it's going to be unplayable for good until the demo and then until the full release. I think this looks fine, right? What do you guys think? Is that offset good or does it feel weird to have the character that far down? Did Alchemortis get picked up by creators? Yeah, Wanderbots played it. A Bobo Knows is another one that played it. A couple of creators played the last playtest as well. I'm expecting there to be more creators, or I'm hoping that there will be more creators playing it when the demo comes out. And then, of course, on release, we want a lot of creators to play. I had to take out a second mortgage last time I got McDonald's. Okay, we'll just leave it like that. No one has any opinions on the offset, so we'll just keep that. A top and bottom bun and a meat patty who synergize one on top of another. That would actually be really funny. Okay. The good news is that, like, of the content creators who have played the game, and Wanderbots especially, like, they all expressed interest in playing the game in the future as well. I don't know if that was just them being nice or if they genuinely meant it, but hopefully we get some repeats from some of the content creators as well. I'm hoping that the biggest creators, though, don't play it until release. I think that would be better, but I don't know, maybe not. All right, so now we got to figure out how to do, let's see. That's done. Add camera boundaries. Let's see what we can do about this. How am I going to do that? Let's see. Add camera boundaries. So what I probably want to do is I can get a bounding box that covers all the nodes. Or actually, can I read it from this? Run map generator. Region height. So the question that I'm thinking about, ellipse half width. So I could use 600 as the width and 1200 times 3 as the height, and I could use that as my camera bounds. The question I'm trying to answer for myself is that sufficient information to create a bounding box that will guaranteed include all nodes? Or is that going to, or is this more like a rough measure? I think it's fine because we've got the Poisson size. This generates in there, ellipse center, region height, local start position is center X. So we've got the local start position. World position. So we got Poisson points. Region top. World midpoint, region top, current Y offset, region height. Times notoriety regions. Current Y offset, so this would be 3600 by default. 3600 minus region height is 1200. That doesn't seem right to me. Is current Y offset changing? Oh, right. Okay. So the way that it's structured is the start node is not at 0, 0, or it's not at the 0 line. The start node is actually at like the 3600 line, right? So as you go up the map, it's going towards Y equals 0 rather than the Y becoming negative. So the alternative way to do it would be to start the game at 0, 0 or whatever, and then go to negative 3600 in the Y. But instead I'm starting at positive 3600 in the Y and then going up. But it looks like there's no extra gaps or anything here. So I think what I can do is I can actually just do this. Public static vector2 map bounding box. Now, actually, the question is, where does the point actually start? I think all the numbers are positive. So I think the bottom corner would be at x equals 0, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think the bottom corner is at x equals 0. So actually, this should probably be a rect 2. Is equal to size is new vector 2, ellipse half width times 2, and then this would be game debug dot get map region height null coalescing to region height times notoriety regions. So the map input layer. Do I want to do the clamping in here? So in ready, maybe I'll do bounding box, run map generator dot. I'll just store it here in case I want to do like, I could do like a bounding box dot grow if I wanted to. Is there a way to like clamp to erect too somehow? Okay, well, if camera target position dot x is less than if camera target position dot y, actually this should be less than bounding box dot position dot x. Is less than bounding box dot position dot y. Camera target position dot x is greater than bounding box dot end dot x. Just copy paste this, change this to y. Well, I guess we'll just see what happens. Shroud gonna play it. It's good, look up the rule of thirds in photography. Item of interest will always look better when not centered. Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that for sure. I just don't know if the rules of photography always apply to games. Okay. Oh, look at that. Now what I could do if I wanted to be even fancier is I could actually make the bounding box based on the revealed nodes only. Oh, maybe I should do that. But yeah, I've got a nice bounding box. This is actually a perfect bounding box because I can't ever move the camera in a way where I can't see any nodes. But now I'm wondering, do I just want to like dynamically change the bounding box based on the revealed nodes? Instead of making it the whole map from the start? I think I do want to do that, right? I think I do want to do that. Now I've got to look for the map input layer. So we've got the map input layer. Do we have like a revealed node revealed? Here we go. In this run map node, this has a position as well. Does this node revealed get emitted on start? Yes. Right, so if I just construct the bounding box based off of the revealed nodes, I think that will just work. So what I'll do is I'll go to my, let's get an export variable for private, oh no, map container. Or no, do I have like a register map container? I don't. Map container. On node revealed. This bounding box here, we're not going to set that there. On node revealed. So we go to private void. On node revealed. Run map node, map node. Let's just set this to a new, just new. So we're going to say bounding box is equal to bounding box dot expand to node map node dot position. I think that's it. Let's see if that works. Oh, I got to build and then wire it up. The main character melds a bit with the nodes. I guess it's inevitable with the limited color palette. Yeah, I think so. I have some ideas for it, but we will see. Basically what I was going to do is I was going to experiment with making the immediately visible nodes blue instead of red. So there would be like 3 different types of node presentations. Oh, that's not going to work because I need to wire this up. That did not work at all. But so basically the red nodes would be nodes that are like close to you. The nodes outside are dimmed a little bit more, so they're a little bit farther away. But then like these boosters would become blue instead of red. So I was thinking about experimenting with that and seeing how that looks. That might be a nice differentiator, a little bit more clarity. But I have to check. Yes, it's Obsidian Kanban. It's not a website. How do you figure out the final resolution and the color palette? Well, I'm using a pretty standard canvas size, 640 by 360. So, like, what I usually do when I'm starting a new game, like a pixel art game, which is basically the only kinds of games I do, I guess, is I start with a canvas size and then I just start mocking up art. Like, I choose a canvas size that I'm thinking about using. I'll go into Sprite. I'll create just a file with that size, and then I'll just start drawing stuff, and I'll just kind of get a feel for like, does this character size in relation to the rest of the canvas feel right to me, right? And then there's also considerations about like, is this going to be a relatively UI heavy game? If so, it's going to be a lot easier to make that game if I've got more screen real estate, right? So like Alka Mortis would be very hard to do at a smaller resolution because there's just so much on screen that I need to show. I mean, like, for example, this text right here, this is the smallest that the text can be. It can't be any smaller than that unless I find a font that can be smaller than that, obviously. But like, that is the minimum size of the font that I'm using. So that drives a lot of the decision making as well, right? And so, yeah, it's just a matter of just like, you know, you can prototype like art and your visual presentation in the same way that you can prototype the game mechanics. So I usually like prototype the art and stuff and just see like what kind of colors do I want to use, what size do I want to use, what should the player size be in relation to everything else, that kind of thing. Code back and forth scrolling practice stream. Loving it. I think that gives the feel of suspense how far it stretches. I wonder why I can go up though. Oh, because it's starting at, oh. It's not starting at the right spot. It's starting at 0, 0. This needs to start at, bounding box bottom left. New vector 2, this would be 0. Actually, I wonder if there's a better way to do this. 1 second. If bounding box dot size is equal to 0, now dot area, actually, let's do something different. If not, is bounding box initialized? Okay, let's see if that works. So I'll basically set the bounding box to be the place of the initial starting node, and then, yeah, now it's bounded properly. So now if I go up here though, and those nodes get revealed, it's nice and bounded there. Okay. How are we feeling about that? Might add a little bit of extra padding. Let's do bounding box tight, rect to bounding box. Bounding box is equal to bounding box tight dot grow. This returns a new, yeah, and we're just going to grow it by 64. So I'm going to keep a tight version of the bounding box, which just basically exactly encloses the space occupied by the nodes. And then I'll take that box and I'll grow it by 64 in every direction, so there's a little bit more breathing room. Yeah, that feels a little bit better to me. Yeah, I think that's good. And we can just make sure, you know, that every map generation doesn't have a problem. Now what I can do is I can turn this back on, 300 reveal radius, and we can see what that does. Make sure I can still pan correctly. I can still see everything. I can still go up. Yeah, that's actually working very well. So now it's literally impossible for me to scroll in a way where I can't see any of the map nodes. I think it looks great. Do you use any UI node on the board? I was wondering if the board is a grid node. No, the board is a tile map. So the board is a tile map so that all the cells look good and tileable. And then when I need to snap the card to a position, I'm basically just doing a calculation. So I'm basically just saying, okay, based on like where the mouse position is in this rectangle, we can derive the grid cell position from that because we know what the tile size is. And so, yeah, and then I just snap the card visually to that position. That's it. It's very, very basic, but it works. Remember one time I set up a macro to scroll infinitely, see what would happen? It just stayed black the whole time. Yeah. Well, that was the problem with like having no board or no camera boundaries, is that once you scroll to where you can't see anything else, like you have no idea, like, do you need to go, you know, left to get back to the map? Do you need to go right? Which is not really that big of a problem because you can always recenter the camera, right? But yeah, now it's like, because it's basically impossible to ever lose the context of where the map is, probably just a lot more user-friendly, a lot more player-friendly. I like this. I think this looks good. Now what happens if I visit something out here? So basically the bounding box is using the camera's center position rather than like the camera's rectangle. So this would be like right here would be the right edge of where the tight boundary would be. And if you push that out 64, the boundary is like here somewhere. So if I move over, like you imagine the center of the camera, I guess it's like right here. So the boundary for the map area is this. That feels a little bit too tight to me still, so I'm going to bump this up to 96. Just give it a little bit more breathing room. And also, I believe I don't need this anymore, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So now the next thing is I want to see if it works correctly when I restore a save. So if I do that, we'll turn on, well, we'll turn that off. We'll turn it on. Ignore save file off, clear save data. Let's go. I thought I would eventually break out of the fog boundary, but you had accounted for that somehow. Yeah, so the way that the fog works is it's a viewport that has a bunch of nodes in it for the reveal areas. But those nodes position is offset based on the camera position in the world. So basically all that's happening is those reveal positions are just being moved essentially off screen. And so all you're getting is just a black render. So it's not like this is just a viewport texture that's black and then cutting out the reveal areas. But the size never changes from 640 by 360. It's just what actually ends up being drawn in the viewport is used to cut out the fog. And if there are no visible areas within the range of the camera, then that means that there's nothing in the viewport to say erase the fog, which means that you just get fog every time or all the time. So there is no possible way to break out of the fog because it's all just based on position. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. We can look at the map too while we're in a encounter. Okay, so what I want to do is close the game and restart and make sure that that bounding box is correctly reconfigured. It should be, because that on reveal is it's being replayed. So yeah, that works. Good morning, Necromantic. Welcome. 1 minute. 1 minute until noon. So good morning is still correct, I guess. Okay. Add camera bounding box. Done. Alrighty then. I'm going to end the stream there. Nice 2-hour stream. I got to get back to the input rebinding stuff. But thank you all for watching. And thank you for being here. It's always appreciated. You can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam if you're interested in the game. I would appreciate that. Yeah, we're just working towards the demo. Like I'm just trying to get the demo in good shape before it releases so you all can play that if you're interested. Yeah, I think that's basically it. Have a good one. Thank you. You too, Ninja Link. Thank you, everybody. All right. Well, I will see you in the Discord, and I'll be back at it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay. Bye-bye.